does the left commit this trick where suddenly the conservatives are all alt-right? It's because what they say is that when people use the term Western civilization, they're inherently reinforcing a racist hierarchy. So when I speak about generalized principles, when I write a 250-page book about the principles of Western civilization, going all the way back 3,000 years to Sinai and then through ancient Greece, when I do that, what I'm really doing is reinforcing the racial power hierarchy in the United States and in the West. So anyone who stands up for Western civilization is, in fact, in sophisticated fashion, standing up for this racial power hierarchy. Now, that's a bunch of crap, but you can see that this mindset has infused a certain element of the left, and that element of the left is unfortunately gaining strength. It really is a threat to the civilization upon which we stand. A great indicator of this is Joe Biden. So Joe Biden was vice president of the United States, and yes, he's a dolt, and yes, he's a dullard, but Joe Biden said yesterday that English jurisprudential culture, the culture that brought you equal rights under law, that brought you limited government, that brought you the idea of constitutional monarchy, that brought you the idea of tort law, that culture that basically built the Anglosphere, that culture is bad. It's very bad. In fact, it's racist. It's white culture. He's saying the same thing in his way as the alt-right. The alt-right just says English jurisprudential culture is great, and it's great because white people created it. And now Joe Biden is saying English jurisprudential culture is bad, and it's bad because white people created it.
I realize I get a little too passionate about this sometimes, but we all have an obligation to do nothing less than change the culture in this country. Not just the laws. We change the laws. Change the culture. The culture. This is English jurisprudential culture. A white man's culture. It's got to change. It's got to change.
It's got to change? Why does English jurisprudential culture have to change? Apparently in this speech, he cited the so-called rule of thumb. So this is a myth. Christina Hoff Sommers has busted this myth. There's a myth that in English jurisprudential law, a key tenet is that a man could beat his wife with a stick so long as the stick was no wider in girth than his thumb. This is a lie. It is not true. It can't be found anywhere in the English legal books. There's one judge who one time wrote about it and was mercilessly mocked for the rest of his career as Judge Thumb in Britain sometime in the 19th century. And yet somehow this has become a key tenet in the left's takedown of Western civilization. If you see Western civilization as predominantly racial, then you are doing it wrong. This is true if you are on the right, and it is true if you are on the left. And the fact that the left agrees with the alt-right on the nature of Western civilization means that Western civilization is really in trouble. Because if instead of arguing over principles and the application of those principles, if instead of applying reason to Judeo-Christian principle and coming up with an admixture that makes all of our lives better, you decide, let's just abandon the whole project and revert to tribalism because, hey, everything is power hierarchies of race anyway, things get really ugly really quickly. And this is how the left can lump everybody in, because if they say everything is tribal, then you're tribal too, even if you don't know it. It really is disgusting. It really is disgusting.